We're about to head into a 60-minute scrap.
A verbal scrap.
We've had two very different pathways to get to where we are now. What's been the wrong way?
How the hell are you meant to know what you want to do at a young, tender age of 18, where at the time you think you're a big adult, but now looking back you realise you're just a kid? But you've got to go and make a decision of what do I want to study for the next 3 or 4 years, which is then going to be my career for the next 20. When we started Harwell, I think you shared that I probably inspired you a bit, where I'm reading these books at home and then coming into your fucking kitchen the next day and it's just me and you with a couple of laptops going, mate, I've had this idea, we could scale here, and you're sat there going, what the fuck?
Remember the feeling? I was going, I'm not letting you get way better than me. That was what I started to read, because I'm like, mate, I can see how far you're progressing.
Do you really need a degree to be an entrepreneur? Real life experiences where things are out of your control. That's the only way that you fail, and the only way you become better at dealing with failure is failing. Welcome back to another episode of the Two Blokes, One Business podcast. We're your hosts, Harv and Powley, and this is the podcast that unearths all things entrepreneurship.
That was powerful. What a way to start. But what they don't know is that was the third time we did it because you kept stumbling your words.
Makes a change, doesn't it?
Oh, but that really good intro, that. I'm juiced up, ready to go. And this is going to be, I think I get it now. That's why you're so juiced up, because we're about to head into a 60-minute scrap, aren't we?
A verbal scrap.
Yeah, we're going to have it out. Mano v mano.
The debate.
So what we want to talk about today is the pathway you take in life. I think the world is shifting, it seems. Like when our parents were going through school and stuff, it was that perfect lifestyle of go to school, go to uni, get a job, get a partner, have kids, and live the rest of your life. That's what you did. Definitely a shift now with technology, social media, the internet, entrepreneurship in general, where that's not necessarily the right answer for a lot of people these days. So we are going to go into battle mode, me and Harves, because we've had two very different pathways to get to where we are now. What's been the wrong way?
I don't know, mate. Are you asking a question to yourself? Nah, it was quite a good idea for this episode, we feel, because we both took very different paths, but we're both sat here in the exact same space today, effectively. But we also had a lot of people that listen to this podcast and ask us, like, entrepreneurship sounds awesome. I want to go and do it. I want to back myself, but I don't have a degree. Does that matter? And we're going to try and unearth all that today. So this episode could be Two Blokes, One Degree, if you may.
That's good.
That is good.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I'll take that. One of us is clearly funnier than the other.
You didn't stumble your words that time.
Bob.
What was your background then, mate? How did you get to this mighty position that you're in today?
See, I probably went more traditional, mate. I did high school, then we played pro football in England, yeah. And then on that scholarship, you do a shit college course, don't you? And I actually did yours as well, which probably explains why I got the degree and ads didn't. But after that, effectively, if you get pro, you typically don't go down the realms of higher education. But if you get bombed, you got to decide what to do. And I remember thinking, I don't actually know what to do. From the age of 10, all you're trying to be is this pro footballer, and then literally in the space of 5 minutes, you're sat on your ass going, okay, I don't know what to do next. So for me, I'd always been a real high performer at school, always been quite intelligent, smashed my GCSEs with little to no revision. So I just thought the natural path was university. And for me at the time, it worked really well because I went to a sport university where I was able to continue playing full-time sport as well, and also had a scholarship as part of that, which is just free money to go out on the Wednesday student night, basically.
And then what? And after uni, then what?
I was working on a roof.
That's 1 point for Pal there.
No, I went into the workforce, and honestly, because I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time, I think the degree I did was just very broad. And
what did you study?
I studied business management, and I had no idea where that was going to lead me. And it probably was the reason why I left uni and I did a few different jobs. I was grilling chicken in Nando's at one point. I was selling cars for Porsche, and then, working on a roof. And none of them you needed a degree for. This hasn't started, was it? That was my story. But we'll dig into it a lot more. The stuff, I probably didn't use my degree until now, and the stuff that I've learned has probably helped me a lot now, but that's nearly 10 years down the line. And look, there's a lot of lessons it definitely taught me along the way, which I'm sure we'll unpack. But What was your story, Mr. School of Life?
No, you have to take my catchphrase, didn't you? Similar thing, right? Football, scholarship, ended up getting the pro, which was a year's contract left after 6 months. So then I missed the uni boat, which when you were playing back in England, if you got released after that scholarship, American colleges were all over you. They wanted you to go over there because obviously the football in England's higher than the quality over there. So even if you were okay in England, you were top of the tree over in the States. So they give you full scholarships and do all of that stuff. I reckon if the way the world had gone, I'd have got released 6 months earlier. I reckon I'd be probably sat here in the States now doing a podcast with some American bloke instead of you. So thank God I didn't. And then, so I left after 6 months. It was January, and I was going similar things. I was like, fuck, like all I've always wanted to do is be a footballer. And you get this kind of ego and sense of status, whether it's justified or not. It's probably not, to be honest, where you feel like, fuck, what do I do now? I've been at a decent level in my career, essentially. And now I'm literally back to square one. The only quals I've got are like a diploma in football or something that has absolutely zero value in the real world.
What did you learn on that, mate?
I don't know, mate. You did it for me, so I couldn't tell you. So I used to forget my laptop every week and go, I'll just borrow yours, mate. That's sweet. So that was a good partnership. So yeah, like there's zero tangible or transferable skills into the real world from playing football at that time. And then I was like, what am I going to do? I don't know what career I want to go for. I don't know what options there are for me. But I probably don't just want to stay in Worcester and just slot back into a mundane life and go and work in a job that I work every single week, every single month, and be there in 30 years' time. So Australia was always, I'd seen people go over. There was a guy who was a few years ahead of me at school, also was a real, real good football player, and he came over to Australia.
Who's that?
Matt Breeze. He's still over here now, actually, staying down in Melbourne for a bit. I think he lives in the sunny coast now. So I had that aspiration, if you like, to come over. And then the Gold Coast in particular, I had a few people just older than me. I'd seen they were here and it looked cool. So I made the move over. And then obviously a big decision in your life, but the decision of my life. The way my life has gone as a fork in the road moment to what it would have been if I'd have stayed. And the kind of person I am, I would have been fine. I would have worked it out. I'd be happy. I'd have a decent life, but nothing compared to the life that we built here and the life that we get to live on the fucking Gold Coast of Australia, where it's winter and it's 22 degrees and you're swimming around. Like, it's a piss take. Yeah,
it is. Mate, I know we've got a lot of stuff here planned, but I'm going to go off cuff already.
Oh God.
Yeah. I want to, just hearing what way we both described our story. At 18, you're working towards this thing, you get dropped on your ass. It's no longer possible. And there must be so many people in that same boat out there that go through the school system, don't really know what they want to do. Is the education system flawed slightly? Because I look back now, and between the ages of 18 and when we fell into recruitment, and even falling into recruitment, it wasn't what I wanted to do and wanted to choose. How the hell are you meant to know what you want to do at a young, tender age of 18, where at the time you think you're a big adult, but now looking back, you realize you're just a kid. But you've got to go and make a decision of, what do I want to study for the next 3 or 4 years, which is then going to be my career for the next 20, and I'm going to invest 60, 70,000 pounds worth of student loans in.
Again, some people are just born going, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a vet. Awesome. They've got so much clarity. That decision-making process is so easy for them because you have to get a certain qualification, a certain degree to be able to go and do that field of work. A teacher even.
Yeah.
Perfect. If you haven't got that clarity, it's just a guesstimate. And the way I'm thinking about this now isn't the way I would have thought about it at 18, but what skills can I learn which will benefit me in any industry, in any walk of life? That would be my advice now if I had a younger brother or sister or whatever.
And that's why I chose business management, because I remember at the time being like, I don't know what I want to do. I literally have no clue. And Hartbury was always the uni I was going to go to, and I was going down all the courses, and I was always entrepreneurial and liked business. And I was like, that's the one that touches everything. That's the one that does a bit of finance, which I chose a lot of finance modules, which is why I love recruiting accounting now. It's always been an interest. It did a bit of marketing. It did sales. It just touched on everything. I learned pretty quickly after that by touching on everything, when you go and try and apply for accounting jobs, there's 100 people that have actually done accounting degrees. When you go and apply for marketing jobs, there's 100 people that have done marketing degrees. So it was a rude awakening, but I remember that's why I chose that path. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I want to do.
And then, like you touched on there, right? You then choose something which is half okay, but then it's a 3-4 year commitment plus all the money behind it. There's loads. Then back, I guess, continuing on. So I come to Australia and then you just figure shit out. right? I still had zero quals and zero transferable skills into the real world. Still had that self-inflated sense of ego, but you just have to think on your own 2 feet. You've got to just get jobs to pay your rent. You've got to get by. There's nowhere to look other than in the mirror. Like, there's no one else. I'm not from a rich family, right? So there's not a mummy and daddy I can call and say, hey, I couldn't be asked to work this week. Can you send me $2,000 so I can go out?
That'd be nice.
If you don't work, you don't pay your rent. You don't pay your rent, you don't fucking have somewhere to sleep. So you grow up very quick, and then the people you meet at that point as well. And this is why I love Australia so much. I went to a football club, and it's quite an English community there. Obviously, a lot of Aussies too. And people just back you and want to help. And every single person I've got in my life right now, aside, apart from yourself really, has come through connections I made at that football club when I was 19. Like my missus I'm about to marry next month, she played for the women's team. My first few jobs, they were from people at the football club, which wouldn't have then got me the next job after that experience-wise if it hadn't done the core foundational one. So it's just the people you meet. And eventually over time I dropped that ego, realised actually I'm just a very normal bloke and doing a normal thing, and go and be humble and be vulnerable and show interest and care about people and build relationships and build a network, and then everything else worked itself out from there. But I think sales is probably the job or the group of jobs for someone who hasn't necessarily got a degree, because it's all a learned skill. It's not something you have to have a piece of paper for to be really good at. It's all just about commitment, reps, bit of flair, probably, bit of potential, natural ability, I'm sure as well. And then just genuine interest in helping people.
Yeah. So you're saying that all of that experience, all those connections, all of those skills, that's because you chose the School of Life route and you didn't go down university.
I knocked on the School of Life, applied there, they let me in, which was good.
What's the application process like?
You look in the mirror in a dark day and you go, hey, this is my last resort. Actually, this is my preferred resort.
Okay.
And then they go, yeah, 100%, come on in, son.
Come on in.
Yeah.
One of us.
Yeah, graduated that, A+, top of the class. But
what do you think it didn't give you? What do you think you missed out on?
good question. I think I missed out on, I was going to say fun's definitely not the answer, because I had a lot of fun. But I think in uni, you stay a kid a lot longer, which overall I don't think is a positive.
No, yeah.
But I do think there are elements of it where, again, you're living in dorms with all your pals your age. You've all just got class the next day. You've probably got a scholarship if you're half decent at football like you were. You haven't really got anything to stress about too much. So you get to extend that period of carefree lifestyle, and which isn't necessarily a great thing, but in that moment of life it would have been. There was definitely jobs, and there are jobs still where you need a degree to get in, not necessarily the degree. So if you're looking for a marketing job, some people will just accept any kind of degree because I think it shows a level of commitment and ability to set to a task and go and complete it, which is important. But yeah, I don't know, like I genuinely wouldn't change anything for the world.
I think that you made a really good point there about university. It's really fun. And I did my first year, I lived on site in a dorm of 16 people and it was chaos. But it does stretch out that period where you are just being a kid. You've got no real commitments. Like university's fucking easy. And you have a couple of lectures a day, maybe even one at times. It's 10 till 12. Your assignments, if you get ahead of the game, it's not that hard. Like maybe doctor school, a bit different. But it's not that hard. But so what you do is you just put off this realization of having to enter the real world. And it can get addictive. There are definitely lads that I went to uni with that did 2 years on one degree, dropped out, started again, did 3 years on that one, graduated, then decided to go and do a 2-year part-time master's. And it's, mate, you're fucking 29 and you've been at uni for the last 9 years. And then you go and get a job at the uni and it's just this tiny little bubble, which some people are super happy in that space. And that's absolutely fine. But it definitely does extend that period of going out and putting your big boy pants on and entering the school of life and seeing what's out there.
Yeah, it's just so important. It's so important to have the first few jobs, fuck them up, make a few mistakes, learn some horrible stuff. Like talking about jobs, I've done everything. I've worked in cafes, bars. I've stood in the middle of a big shopping centre on the Gold Coast Pack Fair, handing out like timeshare scratchies. I've sold Christmas toys from a stand in the middle of Robina. Like, what else? I've done door knocking for some charity thing, bit of labouring, obviously. I've honestly gone and done it all. And at the time, you don't go, I'm going to go and stand in the middle of Pack Fair giving out scratch cards and go, oh, I'm learning so much here. That's going to help me in later life. That is definitely not what goes through your brain. You're thinking, this is crap. But I need to pay my rent, and I've only got myself to rely on. So you're going to do this until you find something better.
Yeah.
So it's those little bits of resilience you learn at the time, you recognise, but then it's later life. So me being able to stand in the middle of pack fair giving out scratch cards now means I'm actually not that arsed about going up to people I don't know and going, hey, I'm Adam, this is what we do. How can we potentially help you?
Yeah. As you were saying that, I was just thinking maybe that's why you're probably more inclined to, or more happy to just go and smash a massive block of cold calling than what I might do, because you've done all of those jobs. But I did a bit of car sales at Porsche, but people ain't coming into a Porsche showroom if they're not serious.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just come to tire kick. So again, that was more so account management and guiding them through the process rather than sales. I'm trying to think of the other side. So for me, going to uni, 100% there's positives. There's discipline. I think the self-belief to go, now we're just about to launch a new business. I know that if I knuckle down and go and learn something in this new business, like, there's a process to it. Like with anything, we can learn the different styles of marketing funnels, the different industry. I can learn and educate myself and then eventually feel like an expert and put it into practice. Like, it definitely gives you that structure and belief. And even our skill sets now, like we joke that when it's something that needs to be a bit more analytical in the business or a bit more calculated, that falls with me. I've never thought of it before, but maybe that's because I was the guy that sat down and did a 20,000 word university dissertation where it is a bit more strategic and planned out.
You bang on. And again, this is probably the cheat code to the whole thing, right? Is find a business partner who's good at the shit that you're not.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got that option, entrepreneurship as a whole, then what are the traits that I see in people who, one, again, and we spoke about before, grab the courage to go and start a business, get over the fear. Don't listen to that little voice in the back of their head saying, don't do it or you're going to fail. So they've done that bit. Happy days, big step. And then they've gone and started a business. What are the people that seems to stick? The people that just go, you get it, you're a good entrepreneur, which is a bit of a wanky word, but it serves its purpose.
I think people that are purely committed, like the people that build this kind of, I guess, persona that this can't fail. Back to when we started Harwell, the only way this thing fails is if a meteor hits the earth. You've got to have that mindset, because I think unless you fully go in on it and you give yourself that out, like, it's fucking hard. And even though we had a great start, first 2 years we've grown a lot, there have been some really difficult times. And I'm sure there's difficult times to come at some point. But unless you're fully in and you give yourself no other option, I think at some point you'll end up taking that route out.
So commitment's important. Resilience, I think, probably ties into that as well. And this is, again, I get really selfish with this stuff, not necessarily coming from this really rich family, right, where things are given to you and life's really easy. You learn early on to deal with setbacks. And that's probably not really a social economic thing. That's just a life thing. I was given a lot of responsibility to go and look after myself, which is awesome. So you learn how to make a decision, get it wrong, deal with the consequence, learn from it, go again, make a better decision.
Yeah.
And then resilience to when shit does go wrong, just look inwards and go, okay, there's two options here. This either ends this pursuit, I'm going to give up, or I'm just going to keep going in spite of it as well. So that natural resilience, and then moving to, I guess, the other side of the world, right? You don't do that without some kind of resilience too, because it's too easy then just to book a flight home. So I think that's massive. So if you're committed at the start, and then you're resilient when shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
What else would you say?
I think being an expert.
Okay.
Being an expert in whatever you do, and in all fairness, that can absolutely come from a degree. Like, you think Mitch Kelly, our accountant, weapon of a bloke, set up his own accounting practice, did an accounting degree, got his professional accounting qualifications, worked as an accountant for a period of time. So he was such an expert and had such credibility in that space. I think that would have given him the confidence to go out into entrepreneurship and do it for himself. And although, yes, he was still at the start and still now even on the tools doing a lot of accounting, is very different to just working for someone else. But that probably confidence to actually, one, take the plunge anyway, which is the number one, fear is the number one reason that people don't do these things. And then two, probably stick at it, is because he sits there and goes, I am an expert in my field. And I've probably got a 10-year investment hanging on me of going, I've got to make this work, because I spent thousands at uni. I stayed there for 4 years. Then I studied my CPA for a couple of years whilst I was working. And then I've worked as an accountant. I think that weight probably also is why some people can make entrepreneurship stick, which again, Yeah, you can gain those expertise through a job. Like for us, recruitment, there's no recruitment degree. We just learned it through the job and then jumped into this. But I think a degree is probably another layer to that sort of commitment and expertise.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact of I've got a big student debt here, plus I've got to invest all this time. I need to make this work, rather than potentially me, I graduate the School of Life, happy days, and go, I'm going to start a fucking cafe. Probably a shit example because there's a bit of money to spend there. I'm going to start some online marketing agency. Haven't really got an experience, pretty low cost investment. If it works, great. If it doesn't, a different level of desperation for that. What about the attitude to learning? And this is actually really funny because we're talking here about me. I didn't go to uni and get a degree and you did. As I'm getting older, I am frothing learning. It's probably one of my favorite parts of running business, to be honest, is the amount of things that we're doing. Yes, that's cool, but then the learning that comes from it. And there's that feeling of that mind going, wow, that's a whole new level of thinking and principles and understanding. Like even yesterday, we got a bit of a last minute call up to go to a leadership event up in Brisbane. Like really, we've got enough on our plate to go, actually, I'm too busy to take a day out of the office. But we both understand the immediate impact of learning new things or reinforcing things that we already know, but then the energy we get from it as well. Like we had a monster day yesterday, but I actually feel buzzing today. Yeah. Probably because of the people we met yesterday, the things we've learned, just the activity of taking time out, getting up there, sitting there, engaging, being a real good student for the day, and then driving home and talking about what we learned. That lights the fire in my belly, which was not the case 10 years ago when I've got you doing my coursework or whatever it was.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also the cost of not learning. I see so many people I deal with now, whether they own businesses or even some of the executives that we work with on a daily basis, a lot of them go and study an MBA later in life. They go back to university. So I think it's always really important to start learning. The freedom we have now is we can go and learn where we're weak, or like I said, we're starting a new business, or we feel like we've got an issue over here in the business. Let's go and learn that. Even things like AI. The stuff we're learning in AI now is absolutely mind-blowing. Like people are impressed with ChatGPT. That's 0.00001% of it. But it's the cost of not doing it. So learning, it's something that's always going to be there. I think we've probably both had very different journeys with it. I've always read books. Maybe that has come from the background of university. I've always been quite curious. And when we started Harwell, I think you shared that probably inspired you a bit, where I'm reading these books at home and then coming into your fucking kitchen the next day and it's just me and you with a couple of laptops going, mate, I've had this idea, we could scale here. And you're sat there going, what the fuck? Has this guy lost his brain? And then you started reading a couple of the same books and then you're going, actually, here we go.
It's interesting, right? Because I remember the feeling, I was going, I'm not letting you get way better than me. That was what I started to read, because I'm like, mate, I can see how far you're progressing. And again, all right, there's two options here. I either don't read and then accept that I was just going to keep learning, getting better and better, or I can jump straight on the train and go with him, and that's only going to benefit the business. So probably being competitive, probably not a bad little value there for a business owner. Again, if you're not motivated to be the best in your market, if you're not motivated to beat your competition, service clients better, do better branding, have a cleaner sales process, how are you going to stand out in your industry, in your market, and make good money that you can be proud of as a business owner?
Yeah. And I think it's a really timely debate, because I think this debate of degree or no degree has changed over the years. You look back 15, 20, 30 years ago, that was your pathway to success. All of the high paying jobs were the professional, I guess, occupations that required a degree. The conspiracy theorists out there might say that was the plan from the government and people were pushed down that route, but you had to go to university, you had to get a degree and then go and get a professional job, lawyer, accountant, nurse, doctor, whatever it may be. Now the world has changed so much, where there's so much free education available, whether that's through books, which are not free, but there's such a low barrier to entry, or podcasts online, even with AI. Like if people want to go and upskill in a certain area, just go and smash it into ChatGPT. Like you can learn so much at the click of a button, absolutely zero cost. I think the landscape today of degree or no degree has changed quite considerably.
It's now we've got a consumption problem. So, right, like another tangent here. Every little bit of information you could ever want to find is at your fingertips. And then some people do really well. They go, yeah, I want to learn. And then they just read and read and read and read and read different takes on the same principles. And it's all just kind of one way input. There's never any action. There's never any actual implementation of the information you've learned. So you end up just reading so much and consuming so much, you put yourself into a state of paralysis because there's so much then to go and get out of your head and put into a process or into a system and bring into the real world. One of my favorite things at the moment from a Stephen Bartlett episode is talking about being high agency. So that's going to be, it's a great question. So it's going to be that's the future of work, right? So people who can get some information or have a set of instructions, use their own lateral thinking, decision-making, pros v cons, prioritization to then follow the next action, right? So rather than the days of micromanaging where you have to lay out every single step of what someone needs to do in instruction, people can use their own intellect to go and make decisions, weigh up pros v cons, what's the benefit of doing this, what's the cost of not doing it, and then get to the next step. And then with AI, who can do a lot of the manual work, the people who are going to maximize that the most are the ones who are going to be take information A. Okay, how do I spin that to turn it into information B? How do I then turn that into information C? The people who can go bang and do that in the right way and do it in a timely manner and do it in ways that people will pay money for, they're the guys who are going to win.
Yeah, and I think at a very small level, that's entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Yes, you're doing that for another person. And when you do have your own business, there's a lot of external noise other than that simple process. But find a problem, use your intellect to go and try and solve the problem, and then put that into action. And then that will work. And then as the business grows bigger or changes slightly, there'll be a different problem that comes up. Get hold of that problem, go and find the answers, and then go again. But I love a quote, and I've got one for you.
God.
Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. Action is power. That's a good friend of ours, Ryan Tuckwood.
You get a lot of shout outs in this podcast.
Yeah, I know. That's what, I think we've got to stop doing it. Otherwise, it's going to be the Two Blokes Tucky podcast.
Oh, so the big debate. Let's talk about.
Yeah, let's have it. We've warmed them up.
Pros v cons of both, right? If you're sat here now, you're 16, you're going, what do I do? Which way do I go in life? I don't know what I want to do necessarily, but I know I don't just want to commit to something and not love it. The 3 rounds we've got here, round 1, is which path, traditional or non-traditional, builds more confidence? After you, mate. Lose first.
Which path builds more confidence? If you clearly know what you want to do in a profession, let's say nursing, for example, confidence is built through that nursing degree. If you are 1,000,000% sure that is your future, go and do the degree. You can't do it without the degree, but that knowledge that you will learn along the way means you can walk out of there after graduating and you can go and start applying for those jobs and walk into those jobs with an insane level of confidence because you have gone and done that. Now, that's a different question to what builds more confidence in life in general, which I'm sure you'll probably dig into, but within that niche of what that degree is for, I think that's definitely a good path.
So which one builds more confidence? Yeah, I'm pretty strong on this one. It's got to be the non-traditional path. Because even if we look at apprenticeships, right, and go and get in a trade, you're in the real world, early doors. You're on a building site with grown men and grown women who are working for the dollar. It's high stakes, right? If you can make mistakes on a building site, potentially, there's cost implications, potentially safety implications, which are the most important of them all. You've got to really grow up pretty quick, which builds confidence in yourself. Looking at my path, the confidence is to do something scary, commit to it, make it stick, and then build a path from there. And hopefully it doesn't happen. But if everything went tits up for us and we went back to even step 0, not even step 1 before, I've built a business before, I've built a network before, none of this is now is the first time round. So I've got that inner confidence that whatever life throws at me, I'll give it a fucking good crack back.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Two Blokes, One Business podcast.
Now, apart from being world-class podcasters, we also run a recruitment agency called Harwell.
If you're keen to learn a little bit more about what we do, then head over to our Instagram at Harwell Group and check us out.
Back to the app.
Yeah, man, I think I do agree there. Like I'm just trying to think back to my experiences working on that building site. I've worked with a mate, Robbo. He was fucking one of the hardest centre midfielders in Hereford. And yeah, he toughened me up. And even some of the shit jobs you have in hospitality, like the confidence of going up to a table of random strangers and having to service them, deal with complaints, things like that, that just builds up so many different life skills. It's hard because people say, should you become a jack of all trades? That sort of argument. And I feel like not going to uni, you probably do become a bit of a jack of all trades, but they're more relevant all-round life skills. I think you can go down a path and become a master of a subject by going to university, but it's very directed. It's that kind of tunnel vision approach where you go really deep, but you don't actually see much happening outside of that bubble. Because even the work experience you do, it's placement within that sector.
Yeah. Question 2.
Let's have it.
Which path better prepares you for failure? Great question. I'll go first this one. Oh, it's going to be fucking my way. I'm so biased. Because you're in the real world, you fail a lot quicker than you do at uni. The stakes are higher earlier. So failing actually means something. Like back to a football reference. It's like when you go from playing under 18s where there is a league, but it doesn't really matter. And then you step into men's football where blokes get paid a bonus if they win. And people rely on that kind of money to help pay their mortgage, feed their kids. Failing is expensive and failing hurts. So you learn how to deal with that or try and avoid that to an extent early on. You definitely learn how to learn from failure too, which is probably the most important part of it. I do think being at uni, you're still quite sheltered. Yeah, I don't know many people that have failed university. I think if you just rock up and do the bare minimum, you should get some kind of pass mark, especially with ChatGPT and shit these days.
Do you reckon, people, that'd be so easy now, hey?
I'm sure there's tools now where they track if it's ChatGPT and stuff. It's all, but then there'll be another tool on top of that, right, to get over that, and it'll be never ending. I think, tangent again, I think it just needs to be a whole revamp of the education system. It's not about how much information can you remember from coursework and put down on a test. Like, remembering stuff doesn't make you smart, right?
I used to say this all the time.
It's going to be your decision-making process and your ability to go and find information, identify that's the right information you need to solve your problem, put that through a few lenses and qualify the information, go and get it checked against the end solution. Does that work? No. Okay. Test, refine, let's go again. It's that process that makes you smart, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm going to throw a spanner in the works here.
God, let's go.
I agree, 100%.
With me?
Yeah.
Ding.
No, my name's Harvey. Everything I've learned and everything that's prepared me for failure came from outside of that university. The shit jobs. Fucking working at Nando's. Doing 2 grills at once, which I was famous for.
What was your nickname again?
Piri Piri Rivers. And they actually used to sing that from the meadow end, 1,000 fans behind my goal singing Piri Rivers, which was a cool experience. Didn't come from uni.
Teacher wasn't singing that too, was he?
Yeah, it was at the front of the lecture room going, oh,
that was good.
Yeah, even football, like I say, all those things, it came from real world experiences because uni is this fucking controlled bubble. Right? Everyone lives on campus. You got your lessons, you go to your lessons, you hang out with your friends. There's not much room for shit to go wrong. Would you say that's a good assumption?
I didn't go, mate, so I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Maybe you fucking might have a brain if you were. You'd be able to answer that question. Yeah, no, I completely agree there, mate. I think real life experiences and actually going out there where things are out of your control. That's the only way that you fail, and the only way you become better at dealing with failure is failing. Number 3, what have you got for us, mate?
Which path gives you more opportunity? I'll jump in again. I actually do think this is the university path because...
Oh my, double spanner.
Yeah, double.
Reverse spanner.
And there's 2 parts to this. The first one is you have got a ticket, which will open doors for you to go and have more opportunity. Happy days. The second one, and I'm probably thinking more of what I see on TV with people who go to Oxford and Cambridge, the network of people, right? Yeah. I'm not saying people like us go to those kind of places, but I'm sure it scales down. The people you meet there, hopefully they're pretty switched on too, and they're going to go and have good careers and then start businesses. So your network of people over time as life progresses gives you more opportunities in later life rather than being a bit of a lone wolf and going it by yourself and starting and just hustling your way through your first few jobs until you build that network.
I think you're spot on, mate. I think, one, opportunities within that sector. It's your ticket to go and play. Credibility as well. I think the education system, in my opinion, does need to change and shift, but we're still very much in that legacy mindset of, you've got a degree, you're probably viewed as more intelligent or potentially better at success as someone who hasn't. And not having a degree, right, in the right hands, the right person like yourself, who's got a really abundant mindset, you're super motivated, you're a hard worker, you moving into that real life world, learning from those mistakes and just taking them as mistakes and moving on and learning the next thing, I think is a very good experience. But Not everyone's like that. On the flip side, I think that experience to the wrong person, if they're a bit, not weak, but if they're not quite as abundant, effectively in mindset, a few of those setbacks could cause them to really crumble, which in turn might create mental health issues, things like that. Or on the other side of things, you get yourself into the wrong circle in the school of life. That can also impact your future because, as you mentioned, at university, you're in the right circles. If you're with graduates from Oxford or Harvard or things like that, who obviously more often than not have successful parents who have been in businesses or real high level professions, you see a lot more people continue and follow down that route because of the circle that's around them.
So what comes to mind is out of that event yesterday as well, is the male brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25 or something. So potentially uni is a good place to go, be sheltered from the real world. I'm talking like a scorned guy who's done it all himself. Whilst your brain is developing. So when you do come out of uni at 23, 24, probably a lot more better equipped to go and deal with the harshness of life, which it can be sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm talking shit there or not. But one story that's come to mind is really good.
Oh,
So Maddie's stepdad, first time I met him, this is 8-9 years ago. He's a bit of a wally, like not in their life anymore. So that's all right, I can say this. He's American, right? So for them, it's more so than it is in England and Australia. It's you have to go to college. If you don't go to college, you are lowest of the low. She's like, oh yeah, what uni did you go to? Oh, he said that sorry to her. And she's like, oh no, he didn't. And he was like, oh, like scoffed, was not having me at all.
Really?
Not to my face, to be fair, but Mads like just told me this. So now it is definitely bitter. It's so sweet now where we can sit here on a potty with a couple of businesses
yeah.
going, yeah, you absolute milk.
I can't believe Barack Obama said that about you.
You obviously didn't go to the school after he.
Old Barack.
Yeah. Not that I'm bitter or anything, but that did come to mind.
No, you're not a bitter guy. So we debated 3 rounds. And what are we landing on, mate? You think you've won that 2-1.
Yep.
I think there's argument for both. I think, what's a summary? So university can definitely open more doors, we think, initially anyway. School of life can definitely set you up for failure a lot better, but there's consideration that the wrong kind of characteristics or traits in a person going to the school of life could be quite a different journey. Like, we're obviously very lucky that the person you are, you've gone to the school of life and had a great experience.
Just makes me laugh.
And then, which path builds more confidence? Oh, that was the kind of argument of the niche to all-encompassing life. I think more confidence, definitely going and getting out there in the real world can build more confidence in just general life. But whether you get to the age of 25 and you've had no real kind of niche or profession, you might be sat there going, fuck, I'm not actually that confident because I've done 10 different jobs in the last
for sure. And if you
7 or 8 years.
Like I remember so clearly about 7.5 years ago, walking up and down the boardwalk in Miami. I've just left like a cafe job because I've got a visa now and get a proper job, thinking, okay, there's nothing stopping me now. Because up until then, I haven't got my permanent visa, so I can't get a proper job. And that comes in and going, okay, fuck. Now there's nothing stopping you. So what are you going to do? And having the mental battle of just going, this is a big decision. If I get this wrong, I'm going to waste time, energy, effort. If I get it right, obviously life would go well. And then just that mental battle, mental torment of what do I do? How do I do it? And eventually it was just have a crack at a few things. And luckily the Hayes one came back and I ended up starting there and kind of the rest is history. But I can remember the torment. So it wasn't that, oh, great school of life, just go and work things out and be quite relaxed with it. Yeah. I was very obsessed with finding my thing. And until I had that, I was very restless and unsettled.
Yeah, I can relate to that for sure. I remember, like, there's time I was working on a roof in fucking England. It was -2. There's wind coming, and I'm like, this is not what I wanted to do. It was great at the time. I had fun. I did it with a couple of mates. But I was just sat there going, what am I going to do? I think for me, moving to Australia was maybe my cop-out. I always wanted to move to Australia. That was always the goal. But I think the reason it fit so well at the time is because it probably saved me answering a big question of, if I had stayed in England, I had to pick something that I wanted to do. And at the time, I did not have a clue, which in turn can make you quite an unconfident person.
Running away from the commitment, which I wonder if that was a level of my move over here as well, which it would have been. It would have been, okay, I'm not going to deal with this reality. I'm just going to go find a new one.
It's a really good thing to consider, because I know a lot of people that are still living with their parents at 30 and they've done so many different jobs. Surely that knocks your confidence as a person compared to someone that's at 16 gone, I want to be a lawyer. I'm going to college and then I'm going to university to study law. And now I'm going to go and join a big law firm and work my way up through the ranks. Yes, they might not learn too many skills outside of this gap or outside of that space, but what they will learn is that commitment to one path. And they'll be very at ease in their mind, I'd imagine, because that's the path they always knew they were going to go on, and now they're doing it and they're executing. I think there's quite a bit of peace in that as well.
I've got a few stats for you, mate.
Oh, God.
Which might help swing the balance here. Quite interesting, actually. 70%, 78%. I've already I've got my glasses on and the 8 look like a 0.
Do you do it on purpose?
Can't tell. 78% of Australians aged 15 to 74 with a non-school qualification are employed. So that is anything at kind of essential school.
Okay.
Yep. Versus 50% of people of those without that qualification. So 78% are employed, 57% of those without the qualification are employed. That sounds as confusing as it does like when I'm saying it in my head.
No, what you're saying is people that do go to college or university are more likely to be in employment than those who don't.
I think this is a really good.
They don't do reading at the school a lot.
This is a really good shot of why you should go to uni. 48% of people with non-school qualifications hold all qualifications below bachelor level. I actually don't understand what that means.
Do you want me to read it?
Mate, that does make no sense.
Go on.
48% of people with non-school qualifications hold all qualifications below bachelor level.
What does that?
I don't know what it means.
What does that mean? Does it? Hang on.
I'll move on. Yeah.
Nah, 48%.
You want to read it? It's the second one down.
You got your phone upside down. 48% of people with non-school
phones in Bangladesh.
This is the shittest podcast ever. Don't listen to us. Attempt number 5. 48% of people with non-school qualifications hold all qualifications below bachelor level. I reckon what that means is if you do move on to education beyond school, it means you complete everything.
Oh, no. Let's move swiftly on. That is good. All right.
Jesus.
This is a good one. So the weekly income gap. So the basis here is full-time employed men with 3 or more non-school qualifications and roughly $2,558 a week, which is $983 more per week than men with no school. Fuck, I'm so close. The men with no non-school qualifications. So nearly $1,000 a week more is the difference they're saying if you go and get a couple of quals after you finish up school.
And what's that over a year?
That's about $52,000.
Over 10 years?
520. Plus obviously inflation.
Yeah.
And interest, and obviously you invest the money into stocks and shares and property and crypto, all that could do for you. So what's the cost of not going is probably what I'm going to ask you guys.
But remember, you were meant to be arguing the other way. You undo yourself with these quotes. And
not with this one. So the university dropout rate in Australia, only 62% of domestic students who started a bachelor's degree in 2017 had completed it within 6 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
just over half.
38% of people start a degree, get the debt, don't spend time on the degree, which means they're not out there in the school of life in the real world. So it's a double investment. It's the cost of not doing something that's going to help you in later life, plus the actual tuition fees as well.
Do you know I started a different degree and dropped out?
Shit.
Yeah, before I did mine. Loser, yeah.
What did you start?
Physical education and school sport.
Good job you got dropped out of that.
Mate, honestly, stereotypical. Finished playing football. I want to be a PE teacher because, in all fairness, my PE teacher at school, it didn't look like he did much other than play footy with us lads and like different sports all day. So I thought, that looks like a pretty cool life.
That's good, yeah.
So I went and did that. And after a year, I stayed there for the year, but I reckon I only went to lectures for the first semester. I was like, this is boring. So I actually dropped out. And then I took a year out and I was working for Porsche before going back again.
Oh, yeah. Shit, I didn't know that. I thought you just went straight from, I guess you did. You went to Hartbury.
Yeah, did a year.
Yeah.
Then dropped out and worked for a year.
Shit.
Because I was like, I'm going to go to the School of Life.
Nice.
And then
they rejected you.
No, I just thought, God, these are all thick as fuck. I'm going back to uni.
Nice.
And then
3-year degree after that.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Fucking oath. Couple of examples of degree lacking success. Mark Zuckerberg. Dropped out of Harvard to start Facebook.
Facebook?
But I guess he got into Harvard, right? So it's different.
Yeah, but he didn't. How did Facebook go for him?
Yeah. And then Larry Ellison. Again, he's the founder of Oracle. Absolute whop. Didn't finish uni.
Is he the richest man in the world now?
Change all the time, doesn't it? Depending on the share price.
Yeah.
So let's give it to him.
We'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Blazer.
Fair play idea. Mate, I've got a couple of reflection questions for you.
Okay.
Do you ever feel like you wasted time by going to uni?
Yes, because the first year I wasted, I've just obviously just shared, I dropped out. Then I went and worked for a year. So I graduated 2 years behind what I could have been, in my opinion. Because had I gone and done the right degree from year one, it'd have only been a 3-year journey, whereas it was 5 years.
Yeah. Why is that a waste of time though?
Because I just think although I wouldn't change anything, I'm a big believer in life happens for you, and all what we've achieved today is because of the path we came down. But if you're looking at it as a pure time-based answer, I could have finished uni earlier, I could have moved out to Australia earlier, and I might be a bit further ahead of where we are now. Had I started Hayes when you started Hayes, again, we might be a bit further along. But it's all worked out all right.
If you know how to wheel, it should be a bicycle.
I did not expect that one to come out. You got that quote, didn't you?
Oh, that's good.
Oh, cool. Do you ever feel like you missed out by not going to uni?
Only socially, like party-wise. Obviously, I watched Blue Mountain State on Netflix, and they have the big like frat house parties and stuff, keg stands and shit like that. So that would have been pretty cool. But I reckon after a couple of them, you're going, yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. Mate, we used to do a great one. It was called Crate Escape.
Okay.
So like you're in your uni block and like you're like 20 lads in the kitchen and you all buy a crate each. So like that's a slab for the Aussies, and you stack them up in front of the door and no one's allowed to leave until they are drunk. So it was Crate Escape. It used to take a good 6 hours.
You'd be crawling out there by then as well.
Like you're battered.
Jeez. Don't condone that kind of drinking halves.
No, that was the old half.
What's the biggest lesson that your path taught you that the other path wouldn't have or couldn't have?
The importance of education.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't necessarily mean the importance of going to uni, but the importance of always being curious, always trying to learn, always trying to get better. I think it's served us really well in business. Ironically, since we started Harwell, I've never used the things I've learned on my degree so much, but just that kind of trait that I have of always being curious, always wanting to learn, whether it's picking up a book, listening to a podcast, that's just always meant that I'm getting better and better. Because if you're not learning and you're just being stagnant, you are going backwards because the world is moving so fast. People around you are moving so fast. So if you're not becoming better, then I think you're struggling. And in my opinion, you do that through education.
That's really cool.
What about you?
Probably the volume and the variety of just life skills. Like the amount of environments I've been in those like 5-year period when you were at uni and I was over here just doing all sorts. I just learned so much that if I was just in the one environment with one 5-year goal to go and get a degree, I'd have missed out on so much around it. Yes, you catch up to a point. I saw after that as well. But yeah, definitely just the variety of skills early doors that you learn.
Yeah.
And people as well. I think you meet so many different types of people and you can gauge, okay, that kind of person that behaves like this, are they the kind of person I want to be? No, let's not do those behaviors. Oh, that person's really successful and got a life I think I want to live. Okay, what are some of the habits? What are some of the actions they take? Just learning through real life examples rather than textbooks.
Yeah. Learning by observing.
Oh, God, that's good.
Jesus. Mate, if you could go back, this is a big one actually.
Okay.
If you could go back to 18-year-old Paoli, dropping out of the pro football game, would you choose differently in terms of uni or non-uni?
Yeah, no, hands down. Like I'm so grateful for the way everything's worked out. And again, you just stole my quote a minute ago, but amorphity. Life happens for you, not to you. Massive believer in that. And it's the steps in the moment, you don't realize why that's an important step. But then 2, 3, 4 steps removed down the line, you wouldn't have got that far without something that happened in your past. And there's another one that we like here. It's easy to connect the dots when you look backwards. So that's a good one. It all makes sense if you look backwards. Oh, I look at this strategy when I got that sales job. So I'm going to learn this skill to get the next one. And that's going to help me in Harwell. It's never that well thought out or strategic. But looking back, every little job or person you met or interaction or environment builds something. So then when you do try and do something where you need a variety and multitude of skills and experiences, you've got a few in the locker to pull out. What about you?
Hindsight's a beautiful thing, but yes, I would have definitely chosen differently.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say stay the same because of how it helps now.
No, there's definitely positives now. If I knew what I knew now, part of going to Hartbury was clinging on to this professional football dream. So it probably wasn't the most educated choice off that basis. But I've always been entrepreneurial. We laughed with Carissa Hill that we all used to sell sweets at school. I'd have gone and learned about entrepreneurship and sales and actual real life business way earlier. And now I've had 2 little girls, I'm reflecting, how do I bring them up? Because it's really difficult because it's changing so much, and I don't truly believe in the education system at the moment. And for me, I'm going to teach them about business so early on. Like even when we're doing pocket money with Blake, okay, your pocket money is $1,000 a week. But
fucking hell.
Yeah, hang on. But Mr. Taxman comes and takes 30% of that. So there's 300. Then you got to pay some rent here. So that's another 200.
Nice.
Then you need to contribute to the bills, the water, the food, things like that. Okay, so you're now left with $50 just to start teaching them real life skills.
Like it.
That's what I wish I'd learned a lot earlier. If I was an 18-year-old now, I would be going hardcore at finding entrepreneurs or business people that inspire me and learning everything about them. What do they do? What path did they go down? What jobs did they do? Daniel Priestley talks really well. He says, if you want to be an entrepreneur, go and find an entrepreneur and work for them for 2 to 3 years and just be honest with what your plans are and just go and follow them around for 2 to 3 years. Do it for whatever money you just need to live off and just fucking learn from that real life experience of that person building a business. That's what I'd do if I had to choose my path again.
I think as you're saying that, I'm going, fuck yeah, how cool would that be? But it takes big kahunas to go and one, start the conversation with someone to do that, 2, then to commit. Because you're at a period in life when you're 18, you want to go out, you want to hang out with your mates, go to parties. But if you don't rock up on a Monday morning to an entrepreneur who's obviously a high performer and highly believes in their habits of hard work and get up early and everything else, you're going to lose that opportunity. So it's a big decision to make. So you've got to be pretty set and certain that's the life you want.
Yeah, but people might be getting exposed to these things, but they just don't know it. I think back to a couple of my experiences. I was running kids camps when I was at uni. In the school holidays, me and Andy used to do the coaching of the kids camps. And because I was on the business degree, the owner of that business asked if I wanted to come and do some sales with him. And he just got his own little office. And I remember just spending time with his office. I didn't set the world alight.
Yeah.
But I was spending time in the office going, wow, this guy comes in, he's got no boss.
Yeah.
He does what he wants. All of this effort is translating to money that goes directly back into his own pocket. Downstairs, there's a pool table. And at lunch, we used to go and have a few games of pool.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that? And at the time, I only reflect now, that was another thing that just solidified I wanted to go into business. But at the time, I didn't know it. So there might be so many people getting these lessons now that they just don't know.
It's exciting, isn't it? I love talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
So much.
Hindsight's a lovely thing, isn't it?
Mate, do you want a quote?
Oh, God.
This is an Albert Einstein one.
Who?
What?
I thought you said Albert Einstein. I was like, oh my God.
Big Albie.
Albie. What
Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learnt in school. Unpack that for me.
Can you go
education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learnt in school.
I think Albie's stolen this from. I think what he's trying to say here, I think fucking Albie, what he's trying to say here is what I said earlier of you go to school, you forget what you learn at school, but education is just that constant. I'm going to go and find out more information, be curious, learn something new and put that into practice, add it to my toolkit. Is that not what Albie's trying to say?
I think there's only one way to settle this. We've got to bring him back from the dead and ask him.
Is he the guy that founded Gravity?
He is, yeah.
He is, okay. I reckon he might beat me.
Covered you that too.
Actually, it's not that hard. Oh, I dropped this. This fell on the floor.
Here's another one for you. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Bosh, that is me, Jim Rohn. That's me to a T.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He has just summed me up. Self-education. Which again, so fun, like I said earlier, right? I would never purposely choose to learn when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It was still just that, can't be asked. Because now I froth it. I actively seek it out.
And there's so much available online. Like we spoke a lot about the free things earlier in the episode, like your podcasts, your books, not free, but $20, whatever it might be. There's also a lot of online courses. Like Alfie Robertson, he was a marketing coordinator in a massive global corporate. He just started creating content of his journey of 75 hard. By the 70th day, he had something like 150,000 followers. And then he started teaching himself about monetizing that following. He now has a near 8-figure business where he teaches other creators and social media influencers to do exactly the same and monetize that following. Now you can go and sign up to Alfie's course for maybe 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 Aussie dollars. That is the fraction of what a degree will cost you. But he's got people that within 3 months are doing 20, 30, 40K months in their business.
And isn't the opportunity so big for everyone?
Like there's so many different options. Do you think the next generation will see uni as less essential? Or do you think it's happening already?
Yeah, massively. I think it's particularly with AI, right? Because it's what uni is, again, from what I know, is learn information and then have a test on the information. How much can you remember from the book and put it down on the page? Yes, there's more to it than that. I'm sure there's practicals and stuff as well. And you do need to know a level of knowledge. But I think it's twofold. I think one, because of AI, it's so easy to blag the knowledge. And then two, because of AI, people actually aren't getting the knowledge to then go and do the job anyway. So they're going to have to go and essentially start from scratch when they leave uni because they haven't actually done any work while they were there. They don't actually have any knowledge to use. So then they're learning on day one anyway.
I know a lot of people that went to uni just to tick the box, and they would get the assignments from the lads 2-3 years above them and just rewrite them. So you don't actually learn it or take any of it in.
Rewriting it with AI. You just chuck it in and say, hey, here's the way I talk. Look at all my emails. Go and rewrite this essay in my tone of voice and my wording.
One thing that I always wonder, that's great, and you'll get a first and you'll nail it and you'll get your law degree. But then you walk in on day one as a law graduate in a big law firm and they actually start asking you questions. You'll be going, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's a really good point because then you've got a Jimmy Carr one here, mate, for me. I know you have something about the person you become while you're doing the learning. The knowledge is definitely important.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say here? But it's the lack of the journey. If you haven't actually done the learning and then you come out with this ticket, I'm a lawyer, I buy a paper.
Yeah.
Deep down inside, you have not done the work and you are not what you're telling people you are. So that internal shame, that internal insecurity, that hurts a lot. And I think young people these days, from what you're in the news and on social media and stuff, particularly are quite sensitive to feelings. So good on them. To that feeling inside of, I'm living a bit of a sham here because I'm saying I've gone and studied and got a 1-1 or a 1-2, whatever it is, in law. When I actually don't have a clue.
Oh, yeah. The old 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Is it 2 what?
Yeah, I think I know what you're getting at here. And I think it's a version of imposter syndrome.
That's the one.
But I think it's self-inflicted imposter syndrome. We've suffered with imposter syndrome from challenging ourselves and trying to level up. And you think you're at a new level and you do not feel comfortable. But that self-inflicted imposter syndrome arguably is worse because you've created this paradigm that you're this person and you've said you've got these qualifications and you've probably gone into a job interview and gone, I can do this, I can do that.
And you think you probably then ChatGPT'd the interview answers to the questions.
Yeah.
All of this is just...
So you've lied to yourself, you've lied to your new employer, and then you walk in and you go, oh shit. That'd be quite a
And it's the mask as well, right? Like we always talk about authenticity. How the way we talk to each other right here is the way we'll talk out there in front of the team, is the way we'll talk to our families at home. Like it's just the same. Which imagine having that mask. Oh shit, I have to work now. Remember, I've got to pretend to be this person who did a law degree and studied and answered all these questions in the interview. There's only so long you can kind of have that on for before cracks start the show, surely.
Yeah, I agree.
Shit.
Mate, we've covered a lot there. Now, one awesome question I'd love us to finish on. Do you really need a degree to be an entrepreneur?
No, you don't need a degree to be an entrepreneur. If you've gone to uni and got a degree, do you have a certain level of network, credibility, and knowledge, depending on what you studied?
And commitment.
That will help you as an entrepreneur. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not a requirement.
But on the flip side, if you don't go to university and you come through your path, some of those skills that you've learned, dealing with failure, resilience, hard work, motivation, you're also very well equipped to become an entrepreneur. And I'd argue that those traits there are the reasons that most people don't start.
And you can have both. It's not an either or. Like you're all of those things as well. And you've got the degree. Happy days. So it's, and probably one we haven't spoke about enough is that trade route as well. Go and get an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
That's a very similar kind of start to just going out to the real world and starting to work. Yes, there's a bit of a guided pathway and you're going to get a ticket at the end of it. But the people who are on the building sites with you do not give a single shit that you're learning. They need to do a job. They need to do it now and need to do it right.
Yeah.
So that's another way where you just grow up very quick. And you can make a lot of money a lot quicker too, which then gives you other opportunities in life rather than walk out at 23 with a 60K student debt and no real money in the bank because you haven't had time to work.
Done.
I reckon that's done.
Let's have it. We'll see you next week.
See you next week from the School of Life.